it's Robi Ko, Robi Realtor, Robin Aluko, with season 1, episode 2 of Home with Robi Ko. Or should I say in the know with Robi Ko? I don't know. Anyway, today's episode is all about your credit and finances. As an experienced realtor, I find that many people who want to buy a home or rent an apartment have credit issues. And so if you're someone who has a goal of buying a home within the next 12 to 18 months, I'd recommend today that you get a copy of your credit report, and you can do that at freecreditreports.com to see what's on your report. Know what it is that your creditors are saying about you to other creditors. Now, there is a small percentage of customers who do not have a credit file, and that's because they've never had a bill in their name, like a telephone, gas, electric, whatever. They're just brand new. So it's difficult for those people to do something. But let me just first address those of you who have difficulty because of something that happened. Maybe there was an eviction, maybe there was a bankruptcy, maybe there is a collection account or 2 or 3. The first thing that you want to do before you do anything else, you decided that you wanted to get a house, but the next thing to do after figuring out where you want the house to be and what features it'll need to have, you need to look at your credit. So if you're someone who has a credit challenge, and you know that you have a credit challenge because you're going to look at your credit report, go to freecreditreports.com in order to get your free copy of your credit report from each of the credit reporting agencies. Look at it, see what's there. Are there any collections accounts? Is there something like a bankruptcy or an eviction, foreclosure? Any of those things on your credit report can cause major damage, and it could prevent you from buying a house in the immediate future. After you review your credit report to see what's there, take a look again to see if there is an error on your report. If there's an error on your report, I'd say go ahead and dispute that line or that trade line on your report with the credit reporting agency so they can investigate it, and when they find that it is an error, they'll take it off. That'll have a major impact on your credit report. You could get 5, 10, 20, 50 points or more if that error is removed and it's found that you don't own that credit account, or the amount is not a good amount or the wrong amount, or whatever else it is that's wrong with it. Do that first. So look at your report, see what's there, then look at it again to see if there are any errors. Now, if you find some errors, that's great. Get the errors removed by disputing the account with the credit reporting agency. Do that right away. Today, I know years ago you used to have to write a letter and say, this credit account is not mine. I don't think it should be there. Okay, and you'd have to wait and wait and wait for a lot of things to happen before it's actually resolved. However, today you have an opportunity to dispute the account right on your report. You could say, hey, this is wrong. I want you to look at it. And when they do, they'll find that, hey, this is not yours, and they'll make the appropriate correction. After you've reviewed your report for errors, now, and you've disputed some of those accounts, or disputed all of the accounts rather, that have an error, the next thing you want to do is look at the accounts that are greater than 7 years old. If you have a collection account and it's more than 7 years old, or if you have a bankruptcy or foreclosure and it's more than 10 years old, tell the credit reporting agency that, hey, this needs to come off of my report. I don't want it to be on there anymore because this time has passed. 7 years for most collection accounts. Foreclosures, evictions, bankruptcies can be on your report for more than 10 years. So after you've resolved that, then look at your credit. See what's going on there. If your credit score increased to above 620, I'm going to say yay! That's fantastic. A credit score greater than 620 will give you an opportunity to put your foot in the ring for buying a house. If it's not, there's some things that you can do. I'm going to tell you three things. Two things, wait a minute. Three things. I'm just kidding. I'm going to tell you 3 things that you can do in order to improve your credit score after you have already removed the errors and you remove the accounts that are old, meaning that it's a negative account and it's more than 7 years or more than 10 years in the case of a bankruptcy or a foreclosure or eviction. The first thing you can do is open a secured credit card with a company like Green Dot or Capital One. There are many companies out there, but the one that I find really works well is Green Dot. It's easy to get, and you'll be able to put some money into an account at Green Dot, and Green Dot will allow you to use the money that you put in for purchases. Now, I gotta tell you, one thing that I find that people who have credit issues do after they've cleaned up their credit is they do the thing that they did before that caused them to have a bad credit profile. Don't do that. Figure out a budget. There are many tools and resources online that you can use in order to create a budget for your household. And then stay within that spending limit that you place on yourself with your budget. So credit cards, or I should say your credit file, works in a very interesting way. There are so many factors that play into your credit score, but what I will say is this: any credit card that you get, if they give you $1,000, don't spend more than $200 on your card. I mean, some people say, well, I just pay mine off every month. That might be true, but it could be that you're paying it off with money that you're borrowing from your budget. So don't do that. Only use an amount that you can comfortably afford to pay back without causing any problems for yourself. Number 2, Self-Lender is fantastic. Go to selflender.com, and I'm not an affiliate. I got to tell you that I'm not an affiliate, but I find that Self-Lender is absolutely fabulous for helping you to increase your score by at least 50 points, in 1 year. That's a big jump. So the story with Self-Lender is that you open up a CD, and depending on what budget amount that you set, your CD could be $500, it could be $1,000, and if it's $1,000, you're probably going to pay about $75 a month. I'm using round numbers, about $75 a month into this CD. And what will happen is each month, Self-Lender will report that you're paying this money back as agreed. They're going to list it on your credit report as a loan. It's not a revolving loan, but just a loan, an installment loan, and you'll pay that money back over the course of 12 months or 24 months. I'd recommend 12 months, and then I recommend that when you finish with Self-Lender, that you just let it ride, meaning that you do it again using the same money. Because what can happen is when you close the Self-Lender account, they'll send you a check for the amount that you saved plus interest. So if you're putting in $500, you might get back about $545. I'm just guessing, but I'm just using these numbers to give you an idea. If you put in $1,000, you might get about $1,100, $1,200 back based on the interest. Please investigate this on your own to find out how much interest you can earn on your Self-Lender account. I'm just using these figures to give you an example of something that you might do in order to improve your credit. I told you there were 3, and now I'm at a loss. I can't remember what the third thing is that I said I was going to tell you about. So the first thing is you're going to open a secured credit card. The second thing is that you could get a self-lender account where you're opening a CD. They're going to treat it like you have an installment loan, and then you'll pay back the money. Well, you're paying yourself. They're going to, okay, let me explain it in a better way. It could be that if you say $1,000, they're going to give you $1,000 loan on your credit report, but they're not going to give you $1,000. You're just going to pay every month a certain amount of money to get to the $1,000. At the end of the 12 months or the end of the 24 months, self-lender is going to say, yay, she did a great job, or boo, don't give them no money, y'all. That might be what happens. Don't open the account if you can't commit to it, because it's going to affect your credit either in a positive way or a negative way. And the third thing is you can go to Experian Boost. If you're already paying your bills, you have like non-traditional things like your gas bill, your electric bill, your telephone bill. What Experian will do with Experian Boost is to allow you to use your on-time payments to non-traditional creditors so that you can improve your credit score. I recommend that you do all three of those things if you have a credit challenge, and pair it with going over your credit report, looking for errors, and then asking the credit reporting agency to remove the errors and to remove any old negative accounts. One other thing is that any account that you have that's positive, meaning that you've done everything that you were supposed to do, or there were very few late payments or over the limits, keep that account. Keep it open. Don't close the account. And one other thing that you can do in order to shore up the possibility that you will get a mortgage loan in order to buy a house is to not apply for a lot of credit. Do your secured credit card, do your self-lender, and let that be it. Don't do anything else after that. And then, if you haven't already, begin to save for your down payment. Now, in a future episode, I'll tell you all about the down payment assistance programs that are available for first-time home buyers. So stay tuned for a future episode that'll explain all about how to get up to $10,000 for down payment assistance from the city of Philadelphia. I hope that you found this episode informative and exciting. I'm Robin Aluko, Robi Realtor, Robi Ko, your Realtor. If you need help looking for a house in Pennsylvania, do give me a call at 215-906-4907. I'd be glad to help. Again, my name is Robin Aluko, and I go to work for you. Thank you for watching At Home with Robi Ko. See you next time.